So because it's the holiday season, I want to talk about family traditions in Hawaii, at least the ones that apply to me and my family. And maybe you can relate if you grew up here, or maybe you have your own variations of the traditions that I'm talking about. And although not a tradition, I know something that a lot of people will be doing soon is gotta clean house. So I thought I'd share and talk story while I try to clean up around here.
Hello from Hawaii.
All right, let that sit for a little while. So I want to talk about family traditions in Hawaii, at least for us, in three major categories. The first are family traditions that we used to do but we don't do anymore. The second is family traditions that we currently do, and the third are family traditions that we're sort of building up. I don't know if they've been established yet, but we're trying, and maybe one day they will become our future family traditions. Christmas decorations in Hawaii. Now, some families in Hawaii love to decorate their house for Christmas. I'm not talking like little bit lights. I'm talking like they go all out and they get choke stuff in the yard. If you're familiar with Kaneohe, then you know about Christmas Lane, which is that row of houses in Kaneohe by Ahui Manu that used to have all these Christmas lights, and they would go all out. Now, since then, they have sort of migrated to a new Christmas lane, and that's sort of taken over as, I guess, people have stopped decorating on the original street. But growing up as a kid, we used to live by the old Christmas lane, and I remember we would drive by all the time and be like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Unfortunately, we didn't decorate much outside of our house in the area because, well, we just never have room. So my dad came up with the idea of a Christmas window sign. Yeah, so even though we never have the cutout wood characters in the lawn with plenty lights, so what my dad would do is put up this huge piece of paper, and then we would go and paint, and that would be our Christmas decorations. And we decorated with Snoopy and Mickey Mouse and Kero P and just all these different characters that we were into. And my dad would trace it out with a pencil, and then we would come back later and try our best to make the paint. And I'm pretty sure my dad just ended up doing most of it by himself. But then afterwards, we'd hang it up in our living room window, and so all the cars that could drive by our house, they would see our Christmas decorations. And looking back now, that's a wonderful Christmas tradition, and I do miss it. Okay, how's it coming? I can never get all the crud off I can never get all the crud off the tiles. Now, the second Christmas tradition we used to do was fireworks at New Year's Eve, and like many local families, our family, yeah, we used to go all out. I mean, we would go City Mill or Longs, and we just stock up on all the classics. Morning Glories, sparklers, pops. Of course, we got the little fountains, and then we got the little tiny tanks that we would line up and then have them shoot each other. And we never played at our house. We always played fireworks at my grandma's house. And we'd play on our side of the street, and across the street, there would be the neighbor, and they would play with their probably illegal fireworks, but no worries, no worries. The guy worked for the fire department, so it's all good. If you grew up in Hawaii and had the opportunity to play fireworks with your cousins or your aunties and uncles, I think consider yourself blessed. Now that we can't play anymore, at least legally, it's one of the things I wish my sons would be able to do, and maybe one day they will be able to do it. There was a bill recently passed by the city council here in Honolulu, but the mayor ended up vetoing that bill, and they didn't come back and override it. So unfortunately, no fireworks for now. But you know what? No worry. Come New Year's Eve, Hawaii will have the best illegal fireworks show in the world. I mean, it's gotta be the best one. Forget about cost of living and everything being so expensive and can't buy a house. Local people gonna find a way to somehow buy fireworks. And bruh, only in Hawaii. By the way, if anybody got tips on how to clean off the bathroom tiles, please let me know. The next thing is family traditions that we still do today. And probably the biggest family tradition amongst local families are family parties. We're talking about New Year's, talking about Super Bowl, talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas, or just whatever, any kind of parties. And at these family parties, you got, of course, plenty of food and probably a lot of relatives you haven't seen in a while, but hey, when you come together, you guys just all talk story. But the thing I realized all these years later is it's actually the birthdays in our family that are really special. And over the years, we used to have, you know, grandma, grandpa's house. We used to do bigger birthdays, but now it's just typically my family with my parents and my brother, and you know, those are really nice. And for my immediate family, birthdays have always been really special. I still remember when I was on the mainland that my family on my birthday would buy a cake here in Hawaii. The three of them are back here and I'm in Colorado. And they would sing me happy birthday, but they would have their own cake. And so I would watch them light the candle and then sing happy birthday to me while I'm in Colorado. And I'm thinking to myself, bruh, how come I can't get some dobash cake for me too? But looking back though, I think it's something they really wanted to do and make it feel like we're all together as a family. These days, it's more like cake and ice cream, presents, a lot of pictures, and it's the one time that our boys eat probably a little bit too much ice cream, but it's okay. I know that my parents love seeing them enjoy themselves, and yeah, they're getting pretty good at eating a lot of ice cream. But I love family parties in Hawaii, whether it's birthday or whatever type of occasion. I think it's a very important part of local culture, and because food is a part of local culture so much, you get some pretty interesting mixes of food, but more so I think it's the fellowship, it's meeting new people or hanging out with relatives you haven't seen in a while, and just kind of talking story, and yeah, it's real nice. Could never get this part of the tub. And finally, the traditions that we are starting to do as a family, but I don't know if they've solidified themselves and we can really call them family traditions, just sort of being built up. The first is 4th of July in Waikiki. As a family, we've had the opportunity for 4th of July to go down to Waikiki, which as a local family, that's kind of a very unusual setting because, you know, normally we just do our own routine and we very little venture into Waikiki because that's where pretty much all the tourists are, and yeah, sometimes the traffic can be a little bit crazy. But spending time in Waikiki with the aunties and the cousins, to me, it's been nice. It's something that we used to do, I think, a lot more growing up, but now that we're doing it at the hotel, it's also pretty nice. We can see our kids kind of grow up, and I know that my boys enjoy it. Each year as the boys get older, we notice that they can do more and more things. So maybe in the beginning when they were first born, can't really go swimming, maybe we just kind of walk around the beach, but as they've gotten older, now they can do pool activities and they can go beach and do other things and play with the other kids. And then, you know, just seeing that as a parent, it shows some kind of progression, and they remember. And yeah, it's kind of expensive to do a staycation in Hawaii. I mean, I know we don't always think about that as locals, but yeah, kind of expensive, yeah, stay in Hawaii. So, you know, we don't get the chance to always go down and experience some of the hotels, but when we do, it's really nice. And who knows, maybe we'll make it out to Aulani one of these days. But I do hope that 4th of July in Waikiki is something that we can continue to do as a family. I mean, sure, it costs money, and yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit expensive and can get a little bit busy, but I think it's worth it. And just to see how my boys have changed and grown, it's pretty nice. Gotta wash it down. And another tradition that we started with just me and my wife was eating soba noodles on New Year's Eve. Now, I'm Japanese, but I'm like local Japanese. So, you know, we don't really do a lot of the Japan stuff. And after I got married to my wife, I remember that first New Year's Eve, you know, it was getting kind of late, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go sleep. And she started like cooking, and I was like, what you cooking? It's kind of late already. We got New Year's the next day. And she started cooking these noodles, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, you like make saimin. Okay, I will eat some saimin, but it wasn't saimin noodles. These were soba noodles, and I never had really soba noodles before, especially not on New Year's Eve, but it's something that my wife did and enjoys, and so we started doing it ever since that first New Year's Eve. And since then, we enjoy soba noodles as a family, and my boys, of course, they love noodles, and so of course they're gonna eat them up. But it's been like a nice tradition that my wife has been able to bring from Japan that we can now incorporate as a family. And it's one that, again, I hope that we continue to do as a family as the boys get older. Oh, still messy. Well, those are some of the family traditions that we do as a family here in Hawaii. And I'm sure there are like plenty more, and very specific to not just local family as a general umbrella term, but specific ethnicities I'm sure have different things that they continue to do as a family. Those are just the things that we continue to do. But I think it's very important to have family traditions here. And I've always wondered, for the families who move to Hawaii, what family traditions do they build? Because they don't have necessarily that history and the grandparents to teach them these things. And I kind of wonder, yeah, what do they do? Because all the family traditions, for the most part, are learned. And unless you're trying to build new ones, which I think is great, like we're trying to do, you're really just learning them from previous generations, and it's kind of built into that family culture, values, and sort of DNA. So I hope everyone has a good holiday season. I know, pretty busy and kind of crazy, but hang in there. 2025, I think, is going to be a pretty great year. So thanks for watching, and aloha. Still got plenty to clean though. All right, see ya.
Hello